Hello everyone, thank you for coming this evening. I see some familiar faces and I see some new faces, so it's really good that you came out. So tonight is a pretty exciting night. We're going to talk about libido in celebration of Valentine's Day. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about my whole purpose of talking to people about nutrition. The last several decades, the American people have tried very hard to abide by good health rules and regulations that the government has put out. But unfortunately, our health has slipped and we've taken a turn that I don't think is beneficial for us. We rely too much on synthetic drugs and less on good food. There are too many things that we can treat with food and vitamins and minerals, and that's not the direction we've been heading. So my goal by giving these talks is really to help people understand that when you have certain ailments, you can actually turn towards food, towards vitamins, towards supplements, towards organic ingredients to heal so many of our problems. Now, of course, that's not true with everything, but we should be starting there, not ending there. All right, so on to the fun stuff. Let's talk about libido. Who wants to have more sex? Anyone? Yes, I know, me too. Suppose I need a boyfriend first for that. All right, so a couple facts on libido. Now, women tend to have higher testosterone levels when they're younger compared to when they're older. And testosterone is really what allows us to have that sex drive and that performance. However, unlike men who peak at a much younger age than women tend to peak in their mid-30s, men young 20s, sometimes even their late teens. Now, women also tend to have more hormones circulating during pregnancy, which is another reason why women tend to have that higher libido during that time. So let's talk a little bit about tonight. We're going to talk about what decreases libido and the things that you can do to help regulate, modulate, fix some of those problems with that decreased libido. We're also going to talk about what can increase the libido and what foods and herbs can help that process as well. This is a big one. Stress is huge in modern society. It is something that plagues most of us. So does anyone notice that their stress level, when it rises, their sex drive goes down? They're very much related. And let's talk about why. So everybody take a second and close your eyes. Bear with me here a moment. You're in Colorado and you're walking up our beautiful mountains here. You see some berries, so you stop, pick some berries, and you hear some rustling. All of a sudden, a cute little baby bear pops out of the bushes. Now, this is probably startling, but what's more startling is that there's a bear behind you, that it's its mom. What happens in this moment? Right? You're going to have this surge, this adrenaline. Your eyes are going to get big. You're probably terrified. You should be terrified. Now take a second. Wipe that imagery clear. Imagine you're sitting in your office and your boss comes in and he says that he needs something tomorrow evening. It needs to be completed. But you also have a sick child at home. Maybe your husband's sick at home as well. And you have all these stressors. What happens to your body? Go ahead and open your eyes now for me. These are the same physiological responses. You're going to have that surge of adrenaline. Now, adrenaline is a very quick-acting hormone. It's only about 3 seconds long. Adrenaline junkies quite enjoy this feeling, which is why they continue to get it. But they also have to do it frequently because it is such a short-acting hormone. What adrenaline does is it makes you more awake, more ready to decide if you want to take that fight or flight. The next hormone that is present in this stress reaction is cortisol. So cortisol has several purposes. One of its main purposes is to signal the body that glucose needs to be released, sugar needs to be released into the bloodstream for use. Now this is important. If you think back to our bear scenario, if you're deciding what you need to do, your brain is going to need quick energy to think, your body's going to need quick energy to run. Sugar is by far the easiest, most readily available form of energy, and it's extremely important in the stress response. However, in modern day, this doesn't exactly happen like that. So if you're sitting at your desk and you have elevated sugar levels because you have stress, you have this glucose response from the cortisol, right? It's going to do several things. The sugar is going to cause what's called glycation, which will affect long-term beauty. It affects structures. It's also something that is important in managing diabetes and that sort of thing. In this situation, we really have to look at what we're going to do to get that cortisol response down and get our blood glucose levels down. When there's stored up blood glucose levels, it ends up being turned into fat, is essentially what happens. Another thing that happens to people is they get stressed and they start craving sugar. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. You get stressed, you want candies, you want sweets, you want ice cream. Well, this is part of the reason why. Your body is looking for that energy so that you can run from that bear. So how do we get rid of cortisol levels and that excess sugar in our blood? I hate to talk about this one. I mean, I don't, because I love exercise. But I know it's one of those things where people feel like you really have to go hard or you can't do it at all. That's not the case when it comes to stress. Really, when it comes to stress, movement in general is extremely important. Movement is going to use up that sugar in your blood, and it's going to lower your cortisol levels. So if you're trying to increase your libido and you're extremely stressed, taking a walk around the block is going to be extremely beneficial, especially because it's going to lower your sugar levels because you're going to use up some of that energy, and you're also going to lower your cortisol levels. The truth is, as well, libido requires good circulation in the body. I think that's fairly self-explanatory, and exercise is going to help with that. Now, I felt a little deviant adding this slide because the truth is there's no one food that's going to increase your libido. There's just not. There's not a magic berry or vegetable or meat that you can eat that's going to suddenly make your sex drive skyrocket. It's just not quite how it works. But there are several things that you can focus in on to help boost testosterone levels and keep it in the blood. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. So let's talk about the two minerals that are going to really help boost your testosterone levels and keep it in the blood so that you can feel that enhanced sexual drive. Let's talk about zinc. Now, zinc definitely is used for boosting your immune system. You'll also see it in natural cold medicines and that kind of thing because zinc is great for that. But it's also great for testosterone production. And it's likely one of the reasons why oysters are considered an aphrodisiac. It's not the oysters in and of themselves, it's the zinc that's going to help produce that testosterone. It also keeps estrogen from being formed as readily while it's in the body, and of course estrogen has been known to decrease libido. So let's talk about the next mineral. Let's talk about magnesium. Magnesium is pretty phenomenal as it's involved in over 300 different biochemical pathways in the body. Magnesium's main purpose, though, as far as increasing your libido as well as your performance, is that it keeps testosterone from binding onto proteins. Now, this allows testosterone to stay loosely in the bloodstream so that it can act on your libido and your performance. A wonderful thing about magnesium as well is that it also helps with anxiety and depression. So if you're trying to increase your libido but you are struggling with either of these problems, this can help. We're going to talk about my favorite herb. And I'm a little embarrassed to tell this story, but I'm going to tell this story because I think it's important to make sure that you're well researched and things that you ingest before you use them. So there's a wonderful company called Rebel Herbs, and I found this company when I was working as a vitamin and supplement consultant. I'd originally started drinking They have one called reishi chocolate. Reishi is a wonderful mushroom that helps with the immune system. Absolutely love it. And these drinks have coconut milk, which is very creamy. Absolutely love it. So that was originally how I got into this. And then I found this one, which is maca mocha. And I thought, I'm going to drink that. I love mocha. So I started drinking it for 3 days. Several. For 3 days. Now let me paint the picture of what was going on at the time. I was working as a vitamin and supplement consultant. It was the middle of July. It's 80 degrees outside. Probably 65, 70 degrees where I worked. And I was freezing. Absolutely freezing. I had a jacket on, I had a sweater on. For some reason, I just could not get myself warm and could not connect any dots whatsoever. So, drinking this, and one of the other nutritionists comes over and she asks me, Heather, are you cold? I'm like, yeah, freezing. And I'm holding my drink, you know, having a sip here. She goes, that's maca, isn't it? Yeah. She goes, that's why you're cold. I'm like, what? Why would I be cold from maca? She kind of laughs to herself. Now, my friend, wonderful girl, a woman I should say, when she was a girl, when she was younger, I think she was a bit more rebellious. She's not rebellious anymore. She's very particular about her morals and her ethics, and all that is fine and well, but she's probably not someone you want to talk about sex with. Probably not someone I want to talk about sex with. Especially as an unmarried woman, it's probably not a good idea. So she asked me, Heather, have you noticed anything else? Yes, I have, but I don't want to tell her that. I've noticed something, and I'm starting to connect the dots. I'm boyfriendless at this time as well. So she looks at me and debating, should I tell her? I'm like, you know what? She likes nutrition. I like nutrition. We like bodies. I'm like, you know what? I've been a little friskier than lately. She burst out laughing. Oh my gosh, Heather, it's the maca. It's making you horny. I am bright red. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's the maca. She tells me, you need to do a little more research before you drink 2 of these a day. Now that's not to say everybody's going to have that effect with maca, but that was my experience with it. Now maca is really fantastic. A lot of women actually use it for hormone balance, pre and post menopause. Fantastic, fantastic herb. It helps with menopausal symptoms, but for a lot of women it also helps boost libido. Part of that has to do with the fact that maca naturally contains zinc in it, and as we know, zinc ups your testosterone production. So let's now talk about one more herb that is absolutely fantastic for men. So saw palmetto is one of the most widely studied herbs out there. It was used during the Mayan times as a tonic, and it's also been used as an antiseptic. More recently, in the 1900s, it was used as an ingredient in soda. But saw palmetto has a lot of other benefits. It's rich in fatty acids and phytosterols. It also has the benefit of reducing the size of enlarged prostates. Now, enlarged prostates tend to come with age for men. Unfortunately, enlarged prostates can cause a decrease in the size of blood vessels, inhibiting the amount of blood that can maintain an erection. Many men have seen results with saw palmetto with a reduction of the prostate gland. With the reduction of the prostate, blood flow can resume and normal function can increase again. I want to say thank you for everybody for coming tonight. It was so nice to see you and it was so nice to share this evening. I'd love to end with this quote. It's one of the best quotes out there that I think really shows how important food is to our bodies, to our systems, and really what we can do for it. I truly believe that we should be using food as one of our first medicines when we have an ailment, a problem, a disease. Now that's not to say that we don't have a wonderful medical system and not that it is not important, but we should be fighting things naturally in the body first and going to medicine when it's needed, not the other way around. Thank you so much.